What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about 8 habits for success. Now, before I get into those habits, I want to tell you where I got these. I got these habits from studying highly successful people all across the board and extrapolating the habits that they have in their lives. And I've also implemented these habits that I'm going to be talking about into my own life because I've seen what works and what doesn't, and I've handpicked the 8 best ones that work, the most effective habits that I've implemented into my life that have made me become much, much more successful. Now, I want to tell you my definition of success. What do I mean by success? Most people hear success, they think about a lot of money in a bank account. That's great. Having a lot of money in your bank account might be pretty important for you. And for most people, having at least a sufficient amount is do or die. So when I say success, yes, I mean financial success. But I also mean emotional success, I mean physical success, and I mean spiritual success. Because if you're living in a mansion and you're driving a Ferrari, but you're going to bed at night and you're not happy with your life, then I wouldn't consider you very successful. I would rather be driving a Camry and renting an apartment and being happy with my situation in life. That is a much more successful person to me. But I recognize that I might not share that perspective with a lot of people. So I'm picking the habits that are going to get you success in all categories. So let's get right into it. The first habit to become a highly successful person is having a plan. Now, you need to have a plan, a big picture plan for where you want to be maybe in a couple years or what you want to develop your business into over the long term. But it comes down to being a habit when you break it down into every single day. So what are you doing throughout the day that's helping you move towards that big picture goal you have? So having a plan is actually a habit because you need to have a daily plan. What am I doing today that's helping me move towards the big picture goal that I have? So you can do this in the form of a to-do list. You can go check out my video on how to become a master at time management. I give you a lot of really good little tips that'll help you break down how it is that you're going to structure your day to become more productive and more effective. Number 2, this is what comes directly after that, taking action. So many people sit around and talk so much about what it is that they're going to be doing. You know, yeah, I'm going to write this book, or I'm going to develop this business, or yeah, one day I'm going to drive this car. And there's not enough action steps. So having a plan is very important. Making a plan, theorizing what it is that you're going to be doing, why this is going to work and not that. That's very important. But then you actually have to go take action. Taking action is what's going to get you practical, tangible, real results. Right? Life is kind of like a game of results. We need to take action in order to get results. So that's the second habit. Taking action. You need to take a whole lot of action to get a whole lot of results. And this is what we want to do here, right? We want to be successful. And by my definition of success that I already went over, you're going to be seeing a whole lot of results to check off all those boxes. So the third habit for successful people is self-reflection. And this directly ties into the other 2 points because you can have a plan, and let's say your plan is over 3 years. But then a year and a half into your plan, you're growing as a person if you're doing life right. You're going to be growing as a person. Your perspective might change. You might want to tweak your plan a little bit. You might want to abandon your plan altogether. But you have to self-reflect on this. Now, that's self-reflecting on the big picture. However, you also have to self-reflect on the small stuff throughout the day, right? Even if it's just something that doesn't have anything to do with your to-do list that you set up for yourself. Self-reflecting on how something made you feel. Like somebody said this to me and that brought about this kind of emotion, right? So self-reflection is getting to know yourself better emotionally, which is very, very important for your emotional success, for being a happy person. You can go check out my video that I just posted. I forget what I titled it, but I talk about, I titled it The Number 1 Rule for Emotional Intelligence. And it's all about getting to know yourself emotionally. And I actually take you through a process of how it is that you can do that. So go check out that video if you haven't already. That'll help you get to know yourself emotionally, and that'll help this process of self-reflection. This is very important for your emotional success, for you to be happy long term, right? If you're placing your happiness on a Ferrari or a big house, then you can't be happy now in this moment. And this moment is all we have. Don't attach your happiness to your goals, right? You want to be fulfilling your happiness by getting to your goals, right? Like throughout the process, you want to be happy about what it is that you're doing. So with that comes self-reflection. Also, just a lot of other small psychological things that this will help you reflect on, like your triggers. Maybe you'll start reflecting on your childhood and why some things bother you more than others. And you're just going to become a much more emotionally intelligent person. And now, not only is this helping us with our emotional success, but in terms of financial success and success in business, research actually shows that emotional intelligence is much more important than just regular IQ. So EQ is better than IQ. So to develop your EQ, you have to self-reflect. That's very important. So that's the third habit. The fourth habit is pretty straightforward, but 50% of the United States of America is overweight or obese, I think the statistic actually is, which means that 50% of people are ignoring this or just not implementing it. They're not taking action, which is one of the habits we already talked about, but diet and exercise. So you have to have a healthy diet, get into the habit of eating good, and get into the habit of exercising regularly. This is kind of obvious, but I had to include this in this list. If you have, and if anybody shows me a list of habits for success and they do not have exercise and diet on there, I'm kind of discrediting their list. Not actually, but it's very important to have on there, because if you're not eating properly and you're not exercising regularly, then your energy is going to be very stagnant and it's not going to be able to flow properly. You're not going to be able to get stuff done nearly as effectively as you would be able to if you were dieting and exercising properly. So you might be thinking, oh, well, Warren Buffett eats like McDonald's for breakfast every day. And look at him, he's like a billionaire. Or you might be thinking, oh, but this CEO over here, I've seen him, he's really fat, he's overweight, and he's successful. Recall what the definition of success is. Because those guys, sure, they're really financially successful, but I'm willing to bet that if they were dieting properly and exercising regularly, then they would be much more content with the overall quality of their life. Not only that, but I'm willing to bet that had they been eating properly and exercising regularly throughout their whole lives, they would be much more financially successful too, even though they're already millionaires and billionaires. So that's very important. You have to take care of your physical body. You have to make sure your energy is able to flow and be productive. Which brings us to our next point, which is meditation. Meditation is the fifth habit for highly successful people. So exercise helps our energy flow by getting us to exercise and diet by not poisoning our body and keeping things very stagnant. We're getting our energy to flow by staying active. Meditation is cleaning up your mind in the same way that exercise and a healthy diet cleans up your body. So we always have a lot of mental activity going on, and that actually keeps us back from being as productive as we can be. So there's a book called Tools for Titans, and the book's huge. It's like this thick, and it's an interview of so many highly successful people, millionaires and billionaires, and they were all interviewed, and 80% of them have a daily meditation routine in one way or another. So meditation is very, very important. You can go check out my video called Benefits of Meditation, and I have another one called Meditation for Beginners. If you don't know how to meditate or where to start, you can go check those out. I'll include the link in the description. But meditation is going to help to clean up your mind. You won't have as much mental activity that's keeping you distracted from achieving your goals and taking the action that you're setting up for yourself with your plan. So you can see how this all builds off of each other. These habits are all very important. If you miss one of them, the other ones are not going to be as effective. So these are all equally important. Number 6, reading. All the successful people read regularly. You have to read and learn about what it is that you want to be successful at. So whatever your field of work is, it's going to benefit you greatly if you're reading from a bunch of different sources, a bunch of different authors, or even listening to podcasts, whatever. There's so many resources out there now. But books stand still very tall to be one of the greatest ones. You have to read regularly to absorb new information. You have to be learning about what it is that you're trying to be effective at in your career. Reading is one of those things, again, it is very obvious, just like diet and exercise, but so many people do not read regularly, and it shows because there's not a lot of very, very successful people out there. And the ones that are very successful, they are reading regularly. So make sure you're reading, you're consuming healthy information and healthy knowledge that you can implement into your life and into your practice, whatever your practice or your career might be. The next habit is surrounding yourself with people that inspire you. So if you're hanging out, and this is a little bit of a cliche, you're starting to hear this more and more now, but it's for a reason. It's because it's very, very true. If you're surrounding yourself, if your group of friends are unemployed and they sit around and they just do drugs all day and they just complain about how the system's got them down, if you hang out with 5 people like that, you will be the 6th. Your energy will eventually merge with theirs. You are going to become more and more like them because you're, in essence, consuming that energy the same way you consume food, right? You break down that food and it becomes your body. Your energy is going to break down their energy and it's going to become you. You're going to embody it. So it's very important to surround yourself with people who inspire you. My group of friends, God bless all of them. I love them all. They all inspire me in so many different ways. And I'm very grateful for all of them. You have to surround yourself with people who inspire you and people who you kind of want to be like in one way or another. But of course, be authentic, be yourself. Number 8, this habit I threw in last minute. And this is kind of something that was an insight. It wasn't necessarily based off of my research and what I have embodied. Well, I have embodied it, but it wasn't necessarily based off of what I've read. It's just something that I came to realize over time is that you have to stop thinking that you know it all. So many times you hear conversations, I'll be talking to somebody about something and I'll be telling them things or, we'll be discussing something and you hear this so much. Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, I know. Stop thinking that you know everything. This is very important because the second that you already know, yeah, I know, you just closed the door, you just closed your mind to opportunity for more learning. So for the same reason that reading books is effective, stop assuming that you know everything. There is stuff to learn. You don't know very much. Even if you spend your whole life learning, you're still only going to know like a tiny fraction of 1% of what there is to know, myself included, all the highly successful people included. However, if you stop assuming that you know everything, you will start to know more in a very counterintuitive type of way. So I guess the message that you can extrapolate from that is be open-minded. Now, fair warning here. Stop assuming you know everything. That being said, don't assume that everything you're hearing is valuable, is true, and is going to be effective for your life. You have to use your discernment, right? So many times I'll be talking to people and I'll be doing my best to stay open-minded and I'll hear what they have to say. And you ask questions, you want to know more, but I'll walk away from a conversation and think I think most of what, you use your own discernment. It's I think most of what I just heard there was kind of groundless. It was kind of baseless. I didn't really hear a lot of support for it. It didn't seem embodied. It wasn't really expressed to me in a very confident way. So just use your own discernment to know what you're receiving. Is it valuable? Is it not? That being said, very important, stop assuming that you know everything. All right, guys, that sums up my list of 8 habits for success. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Be sure to subscribe to my page for more content like this. And leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Are these habits that you've started to implement into your life already? Do you think you're going to start to now? Did it seem like some good value that I brought to you here? Let me know. I also offer life coaching. My first call for everybody is free consultation. So you can shoot me a DM on Instagram or you can send me an email. I'll include the link to my Instagram page and my email address in the description below so you can go ahead and take me up on a free coaching call. That's all for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Take care.